I've been running a Kubernetes home lab for over 3 years, and in this video I'm going to share the 5 applications which are my favorites of 2026 and which are having a huge impact on my life. Let's go. So to start off with, everything you're going to be seeing here is running on Kubernetes, and the first thing that you will see is my dashboard. This is called homepage, and this is running as a container on my Kubernetes cluster. And this is basically my entry point into my home lab and my digital world, basically. And the first application I want to talk about is Forgeo. Forgeo is a self-hosted Git server, including hosting repositories and running CI/CD workflows. So it really is the full Git suite that you would get if you were using GitHub, for example. So if you didn't know, GitHub has been having some problems recently with lots of outages, and even if you look at the uptime of their actions, then you're going to see that in May they had several outages happening, with GitHub Actions just being down for over 3.5 hours. So GitHub has been making a mess of things recently. And the second issue with GitHub is, of course, privacy and sovereignty, because if you don't opt out, GitHub will take your code and scan it and use it for training their AI models. So I wanted to move away all of my important stuff from GitHub, and I chose Forgeo for that. Now, there are multiple alternatives to Forgeo. For example, GitLab or Gitty. These are both alternatives that you could self-host. So I didn't go for GitLab because even though it is used at massive companies, as you see here, it does have more industry relevance, but it's also completely overspecced for what I need to do. And it is a lot harder to run and maintain. It takes up more resources. So something like Gitty seemed much more appealing to my personal use case. But then I discovered Forgeo, which is basically a fork of Gitty. And as I understand, Forgeo was created because they weren't happy with what Gitty was doing. So they created a free and open source fork of Gitty, and then they are going to keep this and maintain this as a completely free and open source alternative. So this aligns the most with me, and this is why I chose it. I've been using it for months now, and it has been super stable. I have all of my advanced AI workflows in there, all of the code that I'm writing that I don't want to share with anyone else, my note-taking systems, everything, all of that is living in my private Git repos that I control myself. I really like the UI, how it looks, how it feels. You have full pull request workflows. You can do almost anything you could do normally on GitHub. And you also have a full CI/CD suite. So one example of this is if you go to mishavandenberg.com, which is my blog, you are then connecting to a container that's running on my Kubernetes home lab, but this code is being hosted in Forgeo. And whenever I create a new release, so when I add a new blog post or I make changes to it, then I'm actually building and hosting the container image on my own local registry from my code that is hosted locally. So I own the complete end-to-end workflow for this, and it works really well. So Forgeo, I've been using it for 6 months now. It's having a huge impact on my life because it allows me to have complete control and privacy of my own resources, and I highly, highly recommend it. Real quick, before we get into the next application, which I know you're gonna love, we need to talk about something, which is this very interesting statistic that my team shared with me, which is that 78% of those of you who are watching this video are not subscribed. And I want to ask you, please, can you please do me a favor and just click the subscribe button below this video? It's a completely free way to support the channel. You don't know how much that means to me, but it really, really helps me to create these videos every single week. If I ever helped you, or if this video is helping you, please click the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It's a completely free way to support the channel, but it really helps me to achieve my goals. Thank you so much. Let's keep going. Application number 2 I want to share is called N8N. This is a low-code automation platform, which means that you can build these visual workflows where you define a trigger and then you can do all sorts of actions with the data that you're getting. So one example that I have here is every hour, I will check all of the open PRs on my home lab repository. And then it is going to review those and see if it can merge that PR or not. So my home lab obviously is very advanced, and I have an automated updates workflow. So every time a new version of one of my applications comes out, I have an automation running that then creates a pull request to update that application. Now in this case, for example, Miniflux, my RSS reader, it got a version update, and then the automation creates a PR to do this. So as you see, this is generating a fair bit of pull requests, and what I built in N8N is an automation that checks these, and it will just automatically merge all of the applications that are safe to merge. And I'm using AI to determine this, of course. So when you look at the history of my PRs, then you will see that, for example, my audiobook shelf was updated automatically, and then there is an AI assessment report so that I can always check back. And here it will say this is a legitimate PR. It's a patch version update containing only bug fixes. So it decided that this was safe to merge automatically. This is a really cool system that is really reducing the maintenance workload that I have on my home lab. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, this is cool, I want to build this AI-assisted workflow for myself, well, I have good news. If you go to the link in the description below this video, you can get my free Kubernetes home lab guide that is going to show you what to buy, what to install on there, and it also includes the code that you need to create this workflow inside of N8N. It's a free gift. You can get it completely for free by checking the link in the description below. Just go to the page and fill out your details, and it will spit it right back to you. It's my gift to you completely for free in the description below this video. Now back to the video. Now the third application that I want to share is actually something that I built myself. I call this TTS, which stands for text to speech. And I have multiple very advanced AI processes that I use for research and for learning and all these kinds of things. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever done a lot of research, then there's a lot of reading that you have to do after the AIs are done with the research, right? So when I have a lot of research or something like this, I will then ask my AI to write an essay based on that. And that makes it a little bit easier to read. But then the next step is that I want to be able to listen to this while I go for my customary long walks. And for that, I created this TTS application. So if I write something like, please subscribe to the channel, it's completely free, then it is going to create a audio file out of this. And when I then click play here, this is what you hear. This is just a short section, but if I have like very long essays that I have my AI write for me, I can just paste it in here, and then at my own convenience, I can go on my walk, access it on my phone, and then listen to what I'm doing. So this is one of the advanced AI workflows that I really am loving, that are having a big impact on my life. And this is the application that I built myself for this. The fourth application I want to share is something called quantified-self, which is self-knowledge through numbers. And the way I implement this is I track multiple things about my life, and I store that in self-hosted databases, which I'm going to get into in a second. But for example, I wear a Whoop device and an Aura ring, and these devices are constantly monitoring my body 24/7. It's storing my heart rate, it's storing my sleep metrics, everything, and I'm gathering all of that myself in my own self-hosted databases. And what that allows me to do is, well, first of all, I can query myself in Grafana, so I can check out, okay, what's my latest HRV score in Whoop. And what this tells me, for example, is that from the 1st of May till the 20th of May, I was going through a stressful period because my HRV was trending down. And then I came out of it, and then things started to go better again. The same goes for my sleep. I have it all visible here in Grafana. And as you'll see, I've had a bit of a rough week with a few short nights here. I can consolidate all of this. And because it's in Grafana, I can also create alerting around this. So I literally have alerts that are going to start notifying me when, hey, your sleep is trending downward, your HRV is in this zone, you have to make some changes in your life. Like, I'm literally alerting myself this way. And that is only possible by gathering all of that data and storing that in my own databases. And of course, I'm hosting these databases on Kubernetes as well. So if I run K9s, you will see that I have a Postgres cluster running here with 3 instances. And if I go to my cluster and I run get clusters A, then you will see I have multiple clusters running here, for example, Authentic and for Geo. And I'm doing all of that on Kubernetes as well. Everything is being stored in my own self-hosted Postgres databases. Now, all of this stuff is not normal homelab usage, right? Like self-hosting your own databases on Kubernetes is a very advanced, but this is the stuff that I teach to my mentorship students who want to actually land 6-figure tech jobs, DevOps jobs, and the people that come to me to learn from me, this is the kind of stuff that I teach them. So if you're interested in landing a job and learning this advanced kind of homelab usage, check out the link below and you get more information about the mentorship. And the 5th application I want to share with you is called Audiobook Shelf. Now, if you're already familiar with it, keep watching because I'm going to share with you a pretty advanced use case that most people don't know about. Audiobook Shelf is a self-hosted audiobook server that you can use to serve the audiobooks that you own. Now, I own all of the audiobooks that you see here. I have paid for them. I pay for the stuff that I consume and I support the authors. But I prefer to have a digital copy of that living on my own infrastructure as well. Besides, there's tons of free audiobooks that you can get from places like LibriVox, and you can download them from those places and then collect them in your own self-hosted audiobook server. Now, I prefer this over using something like Audible. I have a subscription there and I pay for my audiobooks there, but I don't necessarily want Amazon to know exactly what I'm listening to and sending me recommendations based on that. I would much prefer to just keep that on my own self-hosted system. Now, something you may not know about in Audiobook Shelf is that you can also use it for archiving podcasts. And if you've ever tried yourself, it's actually pretty hard to download podcasts reliably to your disk. But Audiobook Shelf makes this super easy. Just give it a podcast feed and it will download the files right on your disk. And then you can just save them and listen to them at your own convenience. Now, the advantage of this is then, again, you don't get the tracking from the platforms. If a author decides to take down one of these podcasts for some reason or other, you still have your copy of the podcast on your machine. You can also use it to archive older podcasts that, maybe someone decides to take the whole thing offline, all of the episodes. Well, you can just archive it and have a complete copy of the whole history of that podcast stored on your disk, so you can always have access to it. But the best part is because you are storing this on your disk, you can use N8N to take those files, transcribe them, and then do cool stuff with it. On some of these podcasts, I have automations in place that are going to summarize them, score them, and send me an email or a notification telling me whether it's worth my time listening to this or not, or gathering all of the important insights so I can just easily look at it and not necessarily have to listen to the whole thing. So you can build really advanced workflows based on this. And if I'm giving you ideas here, please leave a comment. Tell me what kind of workflow you're going to build, because this was a real big problem for me to solve. Like, how am I going to download and transcribe podcasts? Well, you can do it with this. So let me know if this helped you. And again, if you want to learn how to build a Kubernetes home lab with N8N on it, check out the free home lab guide in the description below this video. If you fill out your details, it will spit it right back to you, and I'll teach you what to buy, how to set it up, and you can build these advanced transcription workflows using Kubernetes, N8N, and everything else. Check out the link in the description below to get the free guide. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you're going to build, and I'll see you in the next video.